This third dimensional world that we live in is the spiritual world. It's just vibrating at a slower pace, at a slower frequency. When most people talk about the spiritual world, they talk about the fourth dimension and above, because it is at a higher frequency to where things are able to manifest faster and more magical and mystical things are experienced. If you were to take a fourth dimensional being and they were to look down into the third dimension, they will be able to perceive the past, the present, and the future, because once you get to a certain level of ascension and you have a certain level of consciousness or a fourth dimensional consciousness, the laws of physics that we have created in the third dimension, or that we have discovered in the third dimension, no longer apply. And the main factor that separates the third dimension and the fourth dimension is time and space. So when you transcend the third dimension, you also transcend time and space. And that is why if you were to develop your consciousness from a third dimensional consciousness to a fourth dimensional consciousness, you would then be able to have access to memories, of course, in the past, which we all do, but you will also have access to the future, or certain potential timelines of the future that are likely to happen. This is how people get intuition. This is how you get psychics. And this is how people are able to just have certain ideas about where they should go next. And if you were to access this part of your mind, you would then unlock your intuition, and you would unlock your fourth dimensional self that is able to perceive this. You then become a master over your reality. You then are existing outside of the matrix. And in order to be able to get this information, you would have to be in contact with your future self. In the video where I talked about how I made $13,000 selling digital products using occult information, I talked about how there's certain practices and a visualization technique that you can use in order to communicate with the parallel version of yourself. And today I'm gonna be talking about how to communicate with the future version of yourself, because we've all been at a time before where you made a mistake in the past, or there was some type of big shifting point in your life where you thought, okay, if I would have only made this one decision, everything could have been different. And you wish that, oh, if I could go back, I could change that. And today I'm gonna be talking about a way where you can prevent big events or making big mistakes by using intuition from your future self. So the technique involves going back to these times in your mind where you made either a mistake or you wish you could have done something. Maybe it was a business opportunity, a business that you could have started years ago, but you just didn't do it for some reason. And you look back and you're like, oh, if I knew that, I could have made $10,000, or I could have made, $10,000 a month. For me, the thing, I always look back, is fidget spinners. Fidget spinners was something that was going viral and while I was in high school, and you had like little kids making Shopify stores, and they were making $10,000 a month just because they just were on it. And at that time, I didn't know about Shopify stores. I didn't know about selling products. I didn't know about none of that. I kind of, in a way, knew that like, hey, like a lot of people are selling this right now. You go to the corner store, everybody's selling this. If you were to sell this, or if I was to sell this, I could make money, but I didn't know how to sell that. I didn't know about marketing or how to create a website or any of that. But that was the thing for me. And I always know that there are constantly things. And then there was another thing when, a few years ago, when the whole sickness thing was going around and people were buying masks, you could have made a lot of money selling masks at that time if only you would have just kind of connected it and just knew that. And there are constantly new things that are coming into this world that are potential business opportunities. And sometimes you might miss out on it because you don't have that intuitive mind. You don't have your fourth dimensional mind developed to the level where you can be able to pick up on that thought frequency and say, hey, this is going to be $1 million idea. So what you want to do is you want to be able to, or you want to go back to those times in your mind where you wanted to do that. So say, for example, for me, it was me in high school, going back to the fidget spinners. I would write a letter to my high school self, and I would say, hey, before fidget spinners, before they blew up, I would say, hey, you want to there's going to be this toy that's going viral on all social media platforms. You want to capitalize off of this. I know you don't have a lot of money right now. I know you probably got other things focused. You running track, you trying to focus on your grades, but if you can make a website, it doesn't even have to be good, and you include this product on it, you could just find some type of way to market it. Maybe it'll be on social media, maybe you run some ads. You could probably get like $20, $30 to start off, get some ads. Whatever you got to do this. Make this investment because you will make money. That'll be one time, and I would just write to that person every so often, write to that version of myself every so often, so that way if the first message didn't get through, the other messages will get through. So basically now what this is doing is this is creating a sort of momentum time loop where now, since I'm communicating with my past self, my future self is now going to be communicating with me. And as I develop my fourth dimensional mind, I'm going to be higher likely to perceive these messages that the future version of myself is giving to me. So now in the future version of myself knows all of the things that are going to happen. There's no certain business opportunities that I'm supposed to be doing. If I am open to that and I am actively setting intentions for this version of myself to communicate with me, or if I'm setting intentions for me to communicate with the past version of myself, then the future version of myself will be communicating with me. So now I am getting inside information from the future, from myself, because I transcended the third dimension and now I have fourth dimensional consciousness. This was something that was partially inspired by the TV show Loki, where there's an episode where, and it's a spoiler alert, he goes into the future and he's actually going around different time loops and different times in space, and he's gathering certain information in order to save the TVA from exploding. There was one scene where he literally studied for millions, or even I think it was 1 billion years, to be able to find out an equation. He started learning a certain science. He became a master of physics, and it took him millions of years to do this. But for the people that was in his timeline, they only perceived it as a couple seconds. But he was going into the future with his physical body. But at the end, he is a guy, so you gotta take all this with a grain of salt. You gotta kind of perceive it and put it into. And there's another thing, like these Marvel movies, these TV shows, they really be giving us the sauce. They be giving us the information, but you have to have eyes to see what's going on. As I was watching this actually unlocked things inside of my mind, and I came up with an equation that I'm gonna share with you guys today. The equation is, you have to help your future self help its past self by evolving in the present. And what this means is, whenever if you make the decision that you want to start evolving today, what happens is the future version of yourself is starting to evolve now at a rapid pace. The potential, the timeline of potentials for that version of you is now growing to a richer, more experienced, more evolved version of yourself. So every day that you grow and you make the decision to grow and you make the decision to stay consistent to a certain routine, your future self is evolving at a more rapid pace. And then now, and this is how it's going to come into the law of assumption, because this is what I experienced. I noticed myself assuming that the future version of myself was going to be rich and was going to be successful and was going to be everything that I wanted it to be, because one, the things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and two, just because it's always been in my mind that as time goes on, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get richer, I'm going to get stronger, I'm going to get smarter, I'm going to get better at whatever I put in my mind to. And even though I put that in the future, I'm doing things on a day-to-day basis that is going to lead to that result. And then now, if I'm going to have access to the future version of my insights, then now I'm compounding the rate at which I'm growing, because now my intuition towards what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be learning, and how I'm supposed to be moving to grow I'm getting insight. So now I'm creating a time loop where I'm helping my future version of myself because I'm growing in the moment. But now I'm also growing in the moment right now because my future self is helping me, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I just want you guys to kind of like stay with me right now. So yeah, that's as far as the law of assumption. So yeah, as you're working on your fourth dimensional self by evolving your third dimensional consciousness, by, like I said before, doing mudras, doing mantras, doing certain meditations, just being on your journey, your spiritual journey, whatever that means to you, as long as you're growing your energy, your spiritual energy, and your consciousness, you would then have access and insights to different information that everyone around you is not having. And if you can craft or cultivate this mindset, this idea of who you will be in the future, you're assuming that reality. Because one, you can draw information from the past, because, and another thing that's going to start to happen is when you start writing yourself in the past and you start to change the past, not physically, but on a conscious level, because now since you're giving this information to the past version of yourself and you start to go through the motions of doing this. So for me, it was like, okay, I made the website, I sold that product in the past when I was in high school. So now my present energy is now remembering it in a way, or I'm putting that a part of my consciousness to say, you know what, I did make that product, I was ahead, I did have that insight information. So now when I look back at all of these memories, if you was to do this for all of the times we have mistakes, you won't have regret in your energy. You won't have regret in your consciousness. You won't feel like, oh, I made a whole bunch of mistakes of certain things that I wanted to do. You have, oh, I did that. I started that business. I was successful. I had that information that nobody else had, and I was able to capitalize on and become a millionaire. You have that in your DNA because you programmed the past version of yourself. Now, this version of yourself has more confidence, has more of that energy. Now, when you want to try to manifest something, you're not fighting against the past version of yourself. You have become that. You have transformed that, not by just, thinking of it. It gets deeper than that. You can't just, there's certain things that you have to do. You got to get creative. You got to have certain very powerful techniques and understand what's going on. You have to have a fourth dimensional consciousness to be able to do this, and for some people that might take work. For some people, we all have different starting points, but it's important to analyze where you're at on a conscious level and understand where you have to go. A lot of people that, I see or I hear, I talk or that comment, I can kind of understand the level of consciousness for certain people sometimes just based off of the questions that they may ask, just depending on certain beliefs and certain views that they may have. I'm not judging anyone, but you should kind of judge yourself in a way to understand, okay, if I'm here, then where do I have to go? Because if you're trying to manifest something bigger than what you're able to, you will not be able to manifest that, because it's like trying to go to the gym and lift up 2 plates on a bench press when you're not strong enough for that. Like, yeah, it's physically possible to do that, but you yourself are not strong enough. It's the same way, yeah, we can all manifest stuff, but you have to build up this energy. You have to build up this consciousness, this spiritual energy. And so, yeah, so that's my take on how I've been using the law of assumption right now. It's been helping me business-wise. It's been helping me just confidence-wise and just getting certain insights, and also just energy in so many different ways. I'll break that down later, but I just wanted to share this with you guys because I realized that I was using the law of assumption and wasn't even doing it on purpose. I just always assumed that I would be growing, and time has proven that for me. Like, I've only gotten better. I've only gotten stronger. I've only gotten richer. I've only have gotten smarter. So if you do things on a day-to-day basis with the intention of assuming that you'll be better, then you will start to have certain insights. And if you work on your fourth dimension. So let me know what you guys think about this. Comment your thoughts below. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out my ebook, join community on school of spiritual entrepreneurs who are growing their energy, growing their finances. We got some amazing people in school right now. Every day I'm getting requests for people to join. It's people in there that's doing their thing. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of people too that I haven't accepted just because I kind of want to be particular on the type of energy that I have there, because we are manifesting something. I've always been aware of the energy that I had around me. This is no different. So you guys, make sure to just show yourself and say something interesting. Let me know that we on the same frequency and the same timeline, and I'll accept you. But yeah, like I said, comment. Let me know your thoughts below.